Myron Swiston here, and finally, at long last, gessoing and the stretching of canvas. So that's a good thing. Hopefully this audio and video will be satisfactory. So I'm using today the 2-inch basswood stretcher strips, and what I do, pre-cut the piece off of your canvas roll. And your canvas roll will be in 36 or 72, 60 or 120 length. I use a number 10, or sometimes I use a number 12. Okay, that's a nice weight of canvas. And good cotton canvas comes from the United States, and roll, it's combed and milled. Second choice is from India. That is good quality. A 10 or a number 12 ounce from India is good quality. And there's some from, of course, a third country, but could be China, could be Southeast Asia, but I stay with the one made in the United States and the one made in India. They're both very good. I pre-cut, first of all, I just pre-cut my piece from my roll, and I give myself, when I pre-cut it, I take a stretcher strip as my outside edge, and I square off my stretchers, my 2-inch stretchers, to the piece that I need to cut. And then I check the side. So then I check my far side, and then I check my other far side, okay, until I get the squareness that I want. Okay, and then I check the far side here again. Okay, so that it looks good all around. The other thing, we had made sure, of course, that our stretcher piece is square on all sides. So just a set square, and I just determined I did this. No light coming through in the top end, and again I use the opposite side. Again, it's the set square is square, no light coming through at all. Okay, and I just follow it through to make it so that it's square again. So that now is square by the set square, and I always do a double check with my tape. Okay, so this one's 24, and again 24. That's on the diagonal side. You should do these checks so that always you know that your canvas and your stretchers are always square to each other. What I mean by that, of course, is that your vertical and your horizontal weave of your canvas matches your stretcher strip. Okay, so that's important with the pre-cut, and then of course it eliminates any waste, of course. And this way I have a lot more control over the canvas and over the stretcher that I use. So I'm just going to do a double check again, because we moved it around. Check this, use your piece, okay, and then use your 2-inch stretcher strip piece, okay. I can use either side as a front and back. It only has an edge here on the outside edge and the outside edge here, and the rest of it just falls away nicely so that this edge doesn't show in the inside of the canvas. They should as well all slide together very smoothly. Okay, you shouldn't have to get involved in vigorous knocking of these things together. Some tapping sometimes to jiggle your alignment is okay, but if they're not fitting together, don't buy those particular ones, because there's something wrong either in the spaces here. So we're looking at a tongue and a groove. Tongue groove, which is a 2-inch stretcher strip. So they're solid together. Okay, so I've got that square and I'm ready to go. So I've squared it off. When I first started, of course, I used this very heavy industrial grade staple gun, but I discovered that this was really an overkill because I use a lighter grade staple. But if you control the stapling and where you put it on the bar, you can easily control the stress factor and even out the stress factor throughout the stretch canvas that you're working on. So I want this to be square. I just look at everything before. The lines of the canvas, the weave of the canvas is looking good. Out there, of course, there are pre-made stretch canvases in the stores. They're locally made mostly by local suppliers. They are valid. They are okay. They mostly come pre-primed, and the priming is done usually by a squeegee, or sometimes they roller them, but sometimes they spray them. And so the coating that's on the canvas is very, very thin, and quite often that canvas that they're using is not much better than my cotton shirt here in terms of its thickness. So this way I can control everything. I'm going to control the canvas, I'm going to control the gessoing. So I always start, like everything, you work inside out, and I start on the longest side here, and then I just fold it over. I'm looking for the middle, and just do my checking, the middle of the stretcher strip, and then I begin 1, 2, and 3. So I got 3. That evens out the stress over the 3 pieces. Then I grab the stretch canvas like so, and you can see that on the one side, of course, I've got the staples. Now, as I pull it, you can see there's a hill and there's a valley here, a hill and a valley. And so I look across, I have my hill and I have my valley. Okay, once I have that, then I pull over the canvas on the long side, making sure that everything is good as I work. It's fine. So I pull that over. 1, 2, and 3 staples again, so that what it looks like, you can see my hill and my valley here, and so I have even tension across the middle of this stretcher. Okay, so I go to my opposite side, which is going to be my short side here. Okay, this is a 16 by 18 that I'm doing today, and I just want to show you. This is one that I put 2 coats of gesso on this here. You can hear it. Now you can sand it. This has been sitting now 2 weeks. This is a second coat, took a week, 7 days. And on the back, you can see that the way that it's assembled on the back. Okay, you can see just checking on the lines. All the staples are following a nice straight line through the middle of the stretcher strip. Same with this and same on the other side. What you're doing here is evening out the stress points throughout the canvas this way and the stress points that are going this way. So that's important. And you can hear that I have a nice tympan on that. And that's a 2 coat a canvas. And you can feel another couple of days. It's coming close to 7th day. You can sense there's a nice dryness to it. I can still feel, to me, there's some tackiness to it, but because of the humid weather in the summer, that could be a factor. So I come back to my my shortest side here, and again I pull on it. And what I'm going to get, I got a diagonal here, and you can see I get another diagonal there. So there's like oblique handles. I call them diamonds, and you can see the diamond there and diamond there. Then I just pull it over. I do again. I know this is painful, but you'll always get a good stretch canvas, and they're not going to torque on you on the wall or be soft in some spaces on the canvas and hard and have a hard tympan on the other space. So then I come back to the other side, again the short side. I do exactly the same thing. You can see my diamonds. here on the corner, the oblique angle. Look through the middle, everything looks good. I'm examining my stretcher as I work all the time. Okay, and then again, that looks good. Okay, nice tympan, good diamonds, and then I just pull that up and I pull it over. And again, the three staples. Okay, and that's the way it would look there. So that's the back so far. I just have the four sides tacked, and then I come back to my longest side and I work inside out. So on the stretcher here. Now, when you cut it too from the roll, you'll always most inevitably have one good side. That's the edge of the outside edge of the canvas, and you'll notice that is always exactly straight, and so on. You can use that to your advantage here. So I come back to that first side, and again, I'm not going to do the counting again, and we go right into the corner. Okay. And again, the middle, so that we follow the line 1.5 inches apart each staple. Go to the opposite side. Go to the opposite side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull it over again, and then all the way along. So what I have now is the longest side. I have two of them tacked down, stapled down. Okay, then I come back to the shortest side. We work inside out again. Sometimes you might get these little pieces. Just cut those off. And then I come back short side again. Okay, I got a little bit in the corner here. Okay, so then I come back to the opposite side. So it's looking like so now. I come back. Okay, then I come back. Again, you can see that it's beginning to look like a nice stretch canvas. Okay, so then I come back now to the longest side. Okay, so we're down. We've got the one complete side done. Okay, like so. We're going to go to the opposite side, the opposite long side. And again, this is, painful. It is worthwhile, the effort. Okay. Because you have control over your canvas. You got control over your surface. Okay, so we've got two sides, two opposite sides you can see that are complete. We're going to come back and just do the final sides, okay, there and there, okay, and we pull it over, again, coming into the corner. Okay, so we're good there. We follow a nice line, okay. Again, we come back to the opposite side. We're looking like that so far. Okay. And we come back, we're going inside out. In this case, inside out on the far side here. Okay, come back here, here. Again, okay, so we even, it looks very even. I just want to show you the back on this other one, what it should look like. You can see the staples, okay, all the way around. Okay, you can see how the corners fold over. Okay, good stapling. Okay, all the way around, it's even. And so remember on this is second coat. Got nice tympan there. Okay, coming back to my one side where all our sides are done. You notice I've got these rabbit ears on the corner here. We'll close those off. So now we're looking at the front. Everything's looking good. Okay. And then we're going to pull up the rabbit ears on the corner. Just grab them on the corner, lift up, over, and tack. Again, I use 3, and that gives me good coverage, so that what we have when we look at the edge here, nice and clean edge, and on this side here, the fold over is nice and crisp and clean. Okay, so I'm going to go to the opposite side, over here, again, 3. So we're always thinking about evening out the tension throughout. Okay, that's a nice surface tension. Okay, then I come back to the opposite side again, up and over. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. I got one final corner, and that's the way it looks like so far. Okay, and how's that? Okay, so that's giving you a nice tympan throughout. Okay, and up and pull it over, close it off. 1, 2, 3. Now there's canvas coming from offshore. That particular canvas, again, I might have mentioned in previous videos, probably made, the stretchers are probably made from bamboo or some wood that we don't know of. It's probably, again, not kiln dried, it's air dried, which is outside to the elements, to the rain, cold, snow, and quite often I'm really unsure if it's canvas or is it poly canvas. It's thinner, far thinner than even shirt grade. It's very thin. I'm not sure the coatings, as gessoing is a very loose term. I'm not sure what kind of gesso they're using. The other thing, they come poly-packed here, so when you unwrap them in the poly-pack that they come from offshore, they begin to torque because they're becoming hydroscopic, absorbing moisture going either way or this way. And after you spend so many hours, 600 hours, 500 hours, 2 weeks on a painting, and you put it on the wall, it begins to torque, and your customer is going to phone you, the gallery's going to phone you and say that you've sold inferior materials and improper stretching. So doing it this way, you're not going to get a call that it's torquing or doing anything mysterious on the wall, okay, and the gallery won't call you as well. So in your reputation then becomes that you use good materials, and you'll have a good result because of that. That your foundation that you're building this big building is a good thing. Okay, so that's what it looks like. It's got nice tympan. You can probably hear that. The back is closed off. All the rabbit ears are closed off. Okay, so now I have a nice square canvas. Now the next thing is the gessoing. And what I do is I do use acrylic gesso. Okay, acrylic gesso, okay, is formulated with the polymer, calcium carbonate, titanium white, and there might be, it's compounded together. Acrylic gesso has a flexibility to it, so it will move with the canvas. Okay, it moves as the canvas tightens up, loosens up. So the acrylic gesso has that flexibility to it. And gesso, as a broad term, kind of does, in this case, when you use artist quality gesso, it does two things. It's an absorbent ground, so that whatever you put on it, it's being grabbed by the coating that you've put on, the ground that you've put on. The second part, it acts as a barrier. Okay, and here I'm not going to, if I wanted to be totally satisfied that whatever's mysterious in this canvas, I would apply a matte medium to this first. Now out there's called clear gesso. That's a misnomer. All that really is a gloss polymer. That is a misnomer, and they're calling it gesso. Gesso, number one, is opaque. Number two, it's an absorbent ground. And of course, number three, you can put media on it, you can draw on it. The whole point of having gesso is to do your preliminary work, your drawing, your charcoal, and you can see what you're doing. Now, if you want it tinted, add acrylic to your gesso, whatever color you want. And that'll give you your corresponding tint. And again, the artist gesso. If you use the paint wallpaper store latex, the latex underneath will dry up underneath and you'll be able to pull off your paint layer from that. It provides no protection whatsoever. The only protection would be the cheap price, and you're going to suffer the consequences of your choice, that the paint won't stay on the stretch canvas. So the gessoing, I'm using artist grade gesso. I'll just get the top off. There we go. And you can maybe see the brand I have. I buy it by the gallon. This is a very good brand. Any one of the acrylic ones are good. I like this one because now don't add water to your gesso and think you're making more mileage from it. No, you want to apply your gesso in layers. So start in the middle, always inside out. So I always start in the middle here, and I'm applying it in a layer. That's all I'm doing, working inside out. I'm going to do this. I know this is laborious, part of it, but I just really want to show this part of it. I'm just going to make a cross and start that way and move across. I'm going in the direction of the weave, vertical, horizontal, across. It's like making an iron cross in a sense through the middle here. Okay, and that'll establish my corners, my quadrants. I work right out to the edge, and as I work, again, I just follow the weave. I'm not trying to put a lot on, I'm trying to build a layer. And it's the strength that gets achieved through the layering process. So again, just keep going all the way. I'm going to do this, maybe perhaps you don't need to see this, but I just want to show you that just work it in. Okay, you don't have to press on it, just work it in. This is an artist quality one, so you'll find that it brushes on very smoothly. Okay, and you do each one of your sections. You can see that where I'm at with this now. Okay, you can see I'm kind of working from the inside out. Now, canvas and stretchers are, again, they're natural materials, so they're not perfect. There can be imperfections in your canvas as well as in the wood. They're doing this all the time. Okay, they're breathing, they're alive, not unlike what's outside. Okay, a friend of mine, she's an artist and she's in Hawaii. Now, where you have a case where high humidity, Florida, Hawaii, tropical, subtropical, you've got this moisture element to deal with. Okay, and that moisture, she's having a real problem. All her paperwork's, of course, got mold and mildew on them. And she was asking me, what's the best way to do this? I said, the best thing is to get your stretchers, get your canvas, okay, primer the front, okay, like we're doing now. But now, after you've done all this, what you're going to do is you're going to primer the back. And priming the back keeps the mold, mildew, just in this surface here. It keeps the mold and bugs, fungus off the canvas. And so it will be very stable structure. Anything that's a paper, unless it's in a gallery setting or an environmental setting where you can control the constant temperature, okay, they're going to be very subject to wear and tear. Of course, papyrus have been in the desert. Long lost documents have been found in desert and the caves. So they're hermetically sealed, so to speak, from moisture and all of the extremes that moisture brings, and the fungus and mold and bugs and other things. I just have this last little piece that's here, and I just want to close that off. Okay, and I'll overlook. I'm just looking. If you miss some spots, that's going to be okay. Because we're going to layer this, and we've done this in a layer all the way across. Now, the final step, I'm not going to do all of them, but the final step is just to do this edge here. Okay, if we look and just do this edge, we're going to do all 4 edges, but I'm just going to do this one here now. And let's continue with this. See, this way I have a lot of control. over my substrate. And this is the substrate. I'm looking to control when I apply this. This, of course, is the support-induced discoloration. So that's what it looks like. It's nice and even. It's nice and uniform. Of course, it's going to dry a week. I'm going to leave it a week until it sets up. And so I know automatically I can come back with this. I can, once it sets up, I'm going to come back with a second layer. Again, not applying too much. I'm going to come back with a third layer. And I might sand, perhaps, in it. Of course, when you put the gesso on, it does raise some fibers. They do come up somewhat. But that is an attractive quality. It imparts some texture to the surface of the canvas. While I'm looking at it, I can see, I'm just double checking for flaws, no flaws. And I'm looking at this horizontal and vertical thing that we've done here, the priming that we've done here. And I'll continue later when I finish this, the other sides. And again, I showed you the back. So the most important thing is the squaring up, the lining of the canvas, so that your verticals, okay, and your horizontals, they marry up, okay. The application of the gesso, don't slap it on. Do it in a system where you have 1, 2, say 3 layers. If you really are concerned with support-induced discoloration, use a matte medium underneath, and that'll give you a total seal of the surface. But now I'm ready to go. And anytime I paint on this, of course, the paint is such it'll grab on here to the surface, but it's not detracting from the juiciness because the goodies are not being sucked right through the canvas. Okay, now these store-bought canvases, what I would do, come back to that, take your tape and measure from corner to corner on the commercial available ones to make sure that they are square, and hold it up to the light, okay, like so, and look for pinholes, because with the pinholes you're going to get what they call a strike through, and you don't want your paint coming through the back. You're not intending to paint on the back, unless you are painting on the back with that strike through. That might be a thing to use. Thank you again for putting up with the delay, and I'm going to continue on with this materials and stretching. I'm going to come back with the acrylics and the oils, helpful hints on purchasing oils and acrylics, and I'm ready to go. And bye for now. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you and we'll visit with you soon. Bye.